Blackish video. So today's video is my wrap up for April. Get my brain into gear. Yeah, so obviously with everyone being on lockdown at the minute, I have been furloughed from my job. So at the minute, I have been stuck at home, keeping everyone else safe. But I have been doing so much reading. I finished 20 books this month. Yep, 20! I believe. We'll have a count up at the end. But I am really chuffed. I have read quite a few books that will be leaving my collection, and I have found some books that I didn't really feel like I was going to enjoy, but absolutely loved. So yeah, I have made a list of all the books that I read over April, and I got the star rating as well, so I can tell you exactly how I rated them. I am going to try and go in order, but there are quite a few that I can't show you because I listened to them on Libby, which is an online library platform that you can use to sort of download books. You can either listen to them or you can actually read the physical book online. So the first book I read, and some of these were in my Owls wrap up video, so 3 of them I read for that. This was the first one. It was Roald Dahl's SEO Trot, and it was about a tortoise and a man that wants to make a lady fall in love with him, so he uses a tortoise and accentuates its growth to make the lady happy. I gave this 3 stars. I thought it was okay, and I think for a younger reader they would find it absolutely incredible, but obviously as I am that bit older, for me it was just an okay middle grade book. So that's the first one. Next up I read, where is it? The Secret Garden by Frances Hodgson Burnett. This was another one for my Owls. It was okay, I enjoyed it, I loved the story itself, but I found this book itself hard to read. I did find it quite a struggle. So yeah, I love the film, and I think I would not mind listening to it so much on audiobook, but the text here is super small. I apologise now because I have a cold, so I'm going to keep sniffing throughout this video. So yeah, I gave that one 3 stars as well because I love the story. I just didn't personally like the format that that book was in. Next up is a book by Cecilia Ahern, and I actually gifted this one to a friend, and it was The Time of My Life. I gave it 3 stars because I thought the story itself was quite good, but oh, I detested the main character. She was, I know it's the premise of the book that she was a compulsive liar and it was her sort of trying to change that, but I just found it a real struggle. So I did finish it, but I didn't think I'd like it as little as I did. So yeah, it got 3 stars from me. Next up is The Memory of Water by Brian Eastman. This is a Rosemary and Thyme story, which is a detective one that involves them doing gardens and stuff. And I loved it. I gave it 4 stars, I believe. Yep, I gave it 4 stars. And I have 2 more on my shelf that I intend to read. So that one is staying. Next up was The Fellowship of the Ring by J.R.R. Tolkien. So obviously the first book in the Lord of the Rings installment. I gave it 3 stars because I really enjoy the films. I'm quite visual when it comes to sort of big worlds. That's not the term I'm looking for. But I love the story and I like seeing the visual, but the way Tolkien writes is very, very descriptive about the place before you get into much of the story, and I do find that a little bit difficult to get on board with. So yeah, it only got 3 stars, but I do love the films, so you know. Next up is a book by Sarah Blakely Cartwright and David Leslie Johnson. This is Red Riding Hood. It's a different retelling, and obviously there is a film on, I don't know what it's on. I think it's on Netflix, maybe. It was really good. I liked it. I only gave it 3 stars, I believe. Yep, I only gave it 3 stars, and that is purely because It ended in the cliche way, and I'm going to give a spoiler. So if you don't want the spoiler, skip on about 10 seconds. Yeah, it ended with her love turning into the wolf and getting bitten by the wolf, and that just really irritated me. I want people to have a happy ending, and yeah, I just didn't get it. And weirdly enough, it had a chapter that you had to read online, which really annoyed me. It's like, just put it in the book. What if you don't have access to online? So yeah, that one's not staying in my collection, but I did give it 3 stars, and it was worth a read. I just didn't love the ending as much as I hoped to. So there's that. Next up is... this one. It is One Perfect Summer by Paige Toon. This one had me in emotional turmoil. Now, I love a bit of Paige Toon. I read one of her books earlier on in the year and fell in love with it. And I fell in love with this one. Alice and Joe's story was just incredible. After a lot of heartache, it led me to where I hoped it would in the end. Although this has a sequel, or like a little mini sequel, so I have purchased that, I haven't read it yet. But this was beautiful. If you want a romance which is a little bit Romeo and Juliet, can't be together for other reasons, this one is totally it. I loved it. It made me laugh, it made me cry. When I got to sort of the end couple of chapters, I actually didn't want to read it because I was scared it was going to end differently to how I hoped it would, but it ended the way I wanted it to. So yeah, I really recommend it. Paige Toon is my best friend. So if by the off chance Paige ever reads or watches my YouTube channel, then I would love to meet you, because you are incredible. She's amazing. So yeah, I really, really recommend this one. I am on the lookout for some more Paige Toon books. Don't tell Dre. But yeah, it was amazing. I really recommend it. So that one got 5 stars from me. Next up is another Roald Dahl one. I read quite a few of his this month. The first one was The Magic Finger, and then The Giraffe, the Pelly and Me. This one I didn't really like. I gave it 3 stars because I didn't hate it, and I think as a middle grade it was quite good. But yeah, there's a girl in it, and when people do things she doesn't like, she points her magic finger and sees red, and then something disastrous happens to them. So yeah, as a child or like a young teen, I think this would be great. But again, maybe I'm a bit out of my depth age-wise. But The Giraffe, the Pelly and Me I loved. So they have like a window cleaning business, and I loved it. I thought it was great. It was really, really good. It still only got 3 stars from me because it was quite simple. But that is the point of a middle grade. But I did love it. I thought the story was great, so I do recommend that one. Next up, I don't have this one to show you because I listened to it on Libby. It is Madeleine L'Engle, A Wrinkle in Time. Now, I only gave A Wrinkle in Time 2 stars purely because I didn't have a clue what was going on throughout the whole book. I understood the premise that it is about a girl and a boy whose father goes missing, and he's a scientist, and it has something to do with a tesseract and time travel, or not time travel, but kind of time travel. It confused me so much. I ended up actually watching the film on Disney Plus to try and understand it a little bit more, and while I did understand it a little bit more, I just didn't really get it. I have to be honest, I just didn't really get it. So yeah, it was only a 2 star from me, but I imagine there are people out there that might really enjoy it, and again, it is a middle grade, so yeah, maybe I'm just not on with my middle grades. The next one up I read was Arthur Spiderwick's Field Guide to the Magical World Around You, or Fantastical World Around You. So this just has various sort of drawings and things, as if it's like a fairy kingdom kind of thing, and this is a stray sod. It's a good page to pick it on. But I got into reading because of the Spiderwick Chronicles by Holly Black and Tony DiTerlizzi. And they wrote the Field Guide, which is a book that features in the original series, all about fairies, goblins, trolls, that kind of thing. And yeah, it's a great series. If you want to get your children into reading, I recommend that one. But yeah, I gave that one 4 stars. Next up is a book by Michelle Harrison. It is A Pinch of Magic. It's about 3 sisters and a family curse. I don't know why, I just didn't click with this one. I loved the premise. The story itself sounded like it was going to be incredible, but for some reason there was just something kind of missing. So I'm going to hang on to it for now and potentially do a reread at some point. But she wrote... Sorry, after yours. Oh, sorry. But yeah, she wrote a series called The 13 Curses, 13 Treasures, all kind of on that. It's all about fairies, and I love a story about fairies, and that series I have kept since I was a young teen, and I loved it. So I was expecting great things from A Pinch of Magic, but I just wasn't overly taken by it. So I'm going to hang on to it and potentially do a reread. I have downloaded the sequel, which I intend to listen to at some point. But yeah, there was just something missing from this one. I'm not sure what it was. So it only got 3 stars. But yeah, I'm hanging on to it and seeing what I feel later. The next one, this is another 5 stars, is The Lost Village by Neil Spring. Now, I was not intending to like this one at all. However, I thought it was amazing. I absolutely devoured this book. It's about a ghostly village and 2 sort of detectives discovering the secrets of that village. And it was great. I really liked it. So yeah, it got 5 stars, and I'm going to look... This is actually the second one. It doesn't follow on, I don't believe, other than the fact it has the same characters. But the story itself doesn't follow on. There is some background with the characters, but the author's really good and he kind of tells you what that background is. So that's really nice. So I'm going to look for the first one, but I loved it. So yeah, 5 stars. Next up is another one that I can't show you, and that's Boys Don't Cry by Malorie Blackman. Malorie Blackman wrote the Noughts and Crosses series, which is incredible, and Boys Don't Cry is about a boy who gets a girl pregnant. She can't cope, so she leaves the baby on his doorstep and disappears. So he has to deal with it, and it was really good. It made me laugh, it made me cry, it made me feel. I think if a book makes you feel, that is where it's a 5 star, like it's important. And it was just really, really good. There is a sequel out there. I haven't read it yet, but I am looking forward to giving it a go. But I really recommend it. It was really good. Next up is, again, another one I don't have to show you. It's Cecilia Ahern, 100 Names. It was really good. I gave it 4 stars, actually. And it was about a girl that works for a newspaper. She makes massive balls up, and then her boss from a different newspaper passes away, and she leaves a list of 100 names, and it's up to Lily, I believe, to kind of come up with a story on that, and it's about all the different people she meets. It was really good. And then the next one I read was by Cecilia Ahern again, and it was called The Gift. I gave it 4 stars as well. And it was about a man who thinks he's the big I am, and he's doing really well in life. But things start to sort of go a little bit awry. Yeah, I kind of don't want to spoil that one. I think that one's one you kind of have to read. But it was really good. The next one I read was another one by Malorie Blackman. It was only 45 minutes long. And it was called Cloud Busting. And it's about a story of a friendship between 2 boys at school. And it's all done in different types of poetry. So each chapter is a different kind of different poem, but it still tells the story. It was quite good. I gave it 3 stars. But yeah, I wasn't like raving about that one, if I'm honest. The next one was Angus Thongs and Full Frontal Snogging by Louise Renson. I love the film, Angus Thongs and Perfect Snogging, and the book was actually pretty funny. It just kind of reiterated the same thing as the film. So I gave it 3 stars. Yeah, there was that one. The next one, I actually have this one. The next one up is Sisters Red. I don't know why I looked at my book when it's in my hand. By Jackson Pearce. So this is a retelling of Red Riding Hood. Again, it's about 2 sisters and they're fighting wolves. This one ended exactly how I hoped it would, rather than trashing my dreams and getting the typical boy to turn into a wolf. Spoiler, sorry. But it was really good. I really enjoyed it. Nikki Pearson sent me this one, so I do need to find out if she needs it back. Nikki, do you need it back? But yeah, it was really good. I really enjoyed it. I believe she's done a couple of other retellings. But yeah, I really liked this one. It was a different kind of edge to it. Different kind of edge to the Red Riding Hood wolf scenario, and that was quite nice. So I did enjoy that one. Next up is Matilda by Roald Dahl. I gave this one 3 stars. Oh, The Sisters Red, I gave 4 stars. But yeah, I gave this one 3 stars purely because I love the film. I have loved the film for years and years. So this book obviously differs from that slightly, as all books and film adaptations do. But yeah, it was still a lovable story. So that was nice to read. Sorry. Sniffing, yawning, sneezing. Sorry, guys. And then the last book I have on my list is the sequel to Hush Hush by Becca Fitzpatrick. It is Crescendo. Sorry. It was really good. I have to say, me and Nikki spoke about this because we're doing it as a buddy read. And it is very Twilighty. I'm not going to lie. This book is so much New Moon. It's untrue. Boy, girl can't be together for various reasons. Girl does things to kind of be a little bit dangerous and to try and get the attention of the main guy. And I have to say, it broke me a little bit, this book, as did New Moon when I read New Moon. I just don't like when people can't be together that should be together. So yeah, I have been avoiding romances for a little bit. I actually read this one at the beginning of the month, but completely forgot to add it onto my list. So that's why it's at the end. But yeah, we are reading the 4-book series at the minute, and I am really enjoying it. I just want people to be together. But yeah, there's that one. It is very, very Twilighty, but with an alien-esque side to it, as opposed to vampires and werewolves. So yeah, I gave that one 3 stars. I didn't get that higher rating. I don't know why. I think it's because it just made me feel really sad. But yeah, so totaling up, I read 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. I read 21 books for the month of April. I'm not having out much hope for May, I have to be honest, because I feel like this month was a bit of a fluke. But yeah, I did pretty well this month. I'm quite proud of myself. And obviously, once we all go back to work and stuff, that is gonna drastically drop. Because at the minute I don't really have anything to do but sit and read. So yeah, but I really hope you guys enjoyed this wrap up. If you have read any of the books I mentioned, let me know in the comment section down below what you thought of them. I would like to get some other opinions, because obviously I've read it, so I only have my opinion. But if you guys have read any of them, let me know what you thought. Maybe we can have a chat about it, especially if there's things in there that are a bit controversial. That'd be quite cool. But yeah, that's everything from me. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Take care, and I'll see you in my next bookish video. Bye!